This is Perry L. Duff coming at you live from the Hustle's Court of New York City, saying thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and check out our show. This is part 2 in our series with our distinguished guest, Rufus Rochelle. And in this session, we're talking about the epidemic of drugs behind and outside of bars. We're talking about the skyrocketing costs of funerals. And we're talking about how all this has a heavy impact on the family and the home, especially how this impacts the African American community. So join us for this insightful discussion in our attempt to find more solutions to problems that our community and other communities like ours face. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
Of course, what that happened back then in the 60s and in the early 70s, do you think that would cause mental illness now toward a lot of people that have these mental issues with themselves? And that's why they're attacking each other and fighting, committing crime and everything. You think that caused that also?
You know, individuals might disagree with me. You know, I think drugs contributed a lot.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Individual kids' action. You know, because the fact is, young kids today, even the drugs that they are using, is the drugs that the ones during our tenor didn't use. I say those are more like the Grateful Dead type of drugs that individuals are on. Even being incarcerated, you know, and I must say this here, the medical summit they have had at the prison where I was, in the chapel. And they bring in various nurses and so forth to speak in terms of, you know, things, various venereal diseases and drugs situations and so forth. What they say, the ones that spoke, they stated that they have came out on the recreation yard and went in the restroom and had to get certain guys out of the restroom where the restroom floor is so smelly and has urine and water and so filthy out on the rec yard, because you got, during that time frame, you got almost 1,800 to 1,700 men that go to rec continuously, the same restroom. And they say that they have came in there, various ones that's on those psychic drugs. They drinking water out the toilet stool and licking the water off the floor, and then took all their clothes off and all, you know, and sometimes you see some of them take off and run. They be on those, they be on everything.
I know they got one called Flocker now.
Well, it was one called PCP.
No, you see them cutting up little strips of paper, chipping it up, and they put it in whatever it is and smoke it. And man, you see some of them, they gone. And then some of them, they go in other people, individuals' rooms and stuff. Guys have sitting up there just standing up, looking like this. They have them stuck sometimes. They can't even move. And a lot of that, you know, what they have in the prison today is primarily is individuals that's on drugs. And it's not ones that's in there that has money. It's ones that need to be in drug treatment centers, getting help. Because a lot of them is more have damaged their brains. And, you know, I would assume. So out there on drugs, you know, and this is the prison. When I first went in, it was nothing like that. You had men that had class. You could talk with that had educational and productive conversation. But now, what you got is, if you don't get high, you don't smoke, or you don't drink, you get rid of maybe 90% or 95% of the riffraff. And that's, you know, what we have. And then that contributes a lot to the household. Because when you, even if you got the man and the woman inside the household, and both of them are doing things that's unproductive within that household, you know, as they say, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's right.
Right.
Oh, and so you might think that the kid doesn't see those things that you're doing. Observe, they finding various things in there, in the house, that the parents are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to set positive examples for our kids, you know.
Right.
And this is what I try to do. That's the message I try to correlate. I'm doing my Facebook Live each and every night, you know. Every night, you know, because it's not all about prison. It's outside of prison as well.
This is Perry Eldelf coming at you live from the Hustler's Corner, New York City, saying a heartfelt thank you for taking the time out of your day to enjoy our show. If you like our show, please show your love and give us a comment. Leave a comment on these things that we're discussing in this session and other sessions like this. Smash that like button and also share our content to help us grow. And I'd like to take this moment to say that if you are a person incarcerated and you have books that you've written and you want to tell your story, come to the Hustler's Corner, New York City to share your story on our Tales from the Bid series. If you are a person who's been wrongfully convicted of a crime you didn't commit and you want to share your story of what happened and how you ended up in that predicament, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner, New York City Victims of the System series. If you are a person that's active in the community with nonprofits and other organizations that help address many ills within the community like teenage pregnancy, gun violence, black on black crime, truancy, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner, New York City Legends of the Hood series. If you are a Black-owned business and you want to share your story about how you rose up from adversity and obscurity to build and run a successful Black-owned business, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner Black Business Movement series. If you are a musician, a rap artist, a hip-hop artist, a vocalist, and you want to share your story of your career and how it got started and how you built a successful career in the music industry, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City On the Grind series. And ladies, if you are a woman who has been through traumatic experiences that has shaped her life and has molded you into the person that you now are, and you want to tell your story of what you've been through and how you triumphed over it, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New Lipstick Stories series. And we'll give a shout out to all categories and all guests from their business to their music, to their books, to their nonprofit organizations on our show. And as always, we just want to say thank you. And this is the Hustler Corner, New York City. No blue hair, no green hair, no blonde hair, no 10-inch nails, no 12-inch pumps, no Chinese fans, no bling, just real stories, real problems, real answers, real talk. The Hustler's Corner, New York City. Thank you, and continue to enjoy our show.
You know, one thing I never did while I was in prison, I never believed in hanging pictures and all of that on the wall. And I never titled myself as a convict, thug, and all of this here stuff. You know, because when I was in there, people, they knew this, and they called me Mr. Rufus. Because in order to gain certain titles or names, you have to deserve it. You have to be that person that name you was given. All you kill a man and all of this here stuff. And a guy never did any of that, then he gonna try to live up to that name that they gave him. Instead of I don't want that name. My name is John. My name is Rufus. My name is Robert, or Abdul, or whatever. Those names that I notice when you take on nicknames and stuff like that, those raunchy names, most guys try to live according to those names that they were given.
Right.
And then they end up in places that they don't want to be. And that's either one or two places, in the cemetery or incarceration.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Chasing that
absolutely.
fame and chasing that notoriety. Okay.
Yeah, it's all about like street credit and
Right.
that's all that is. Yeah.
I must say, with this program, your show, you give individual an opportunity to bring out the thing, who you are, really. Because I learned, people, you don't have to let people really know who you are. They're going to find you. It's going to come at you. Whatever's in you going to come at you. I try to work with, I work with young kids, and I work with them while they're young, while they little kids, babies, and stuff like that. That way, we have to get them when they're young.
Absolutely.
We see the mother struggling because, what I'm seeing today, and it saddens me, what I'm seeing is the men used to be the backbone of the family, but that place is being dominated now by women.
That's right.
Really?
True.
That's right. Now, I truly believe that's happened by design because I'm looking at the periods of time that you're talking about. Now, to the audience, I just want to say what Rufus is explaining here is very, very systematic. Starting from slavery, there was then after slavery of Reconstruction, which we moved through the industrial period into the civil rights movement. All of these played a role in the shaping of our minds and our spirits from the time that we were disciplined as kids to the sneakers and shoes that we wore to certain disparities, like from the way that I noticed how black kids were disciplined versus white kids. And then it moved, and then from there to the civil rights movement, which culminated after that into the crack epidemic. When the crack epidemic came in, then all of a sudden you find that the mentality and the spirit in the black community fell like a rock. Because I do remember, tell me if I'm correct, Rufus, before the crack epidemic came in, African Americans was the highest educated minority in the country. They were the highest educated ethnicity in the country. We had more master's degrees, more doctorate degrees, more than any other ethnic group in this country. When the crack epidemic came in, all of that shut down. Tell me, am I right on target there? Am I? And
not only that, economically, even in terms of, you had numerous of businesses prior to that time frame that were owned by us, and various properties and so forth, which are even ones that inherited various properties, But after that, the crack cocaine epidemic hit, then what happened is everyone, many of us, was looking to see what various things that we owned was worth. And that was setting us up to get rid of certain things, to sell the things within our community that we inherited through generations out. And they got those things for a little or nothing. And even with prime example, funeral homes. A lot of the funeral homes, which we're thinking is owned by us, is not even owned by us.
That's right.
That's true.
They have our names on them, but there's a company, I think, out of Canada that owns a lot of the funeral homes. It looks good because, the funeral business is a very lucrative business. It's booming more now than before.
Right.
And that should actually give you more intensity to do what's right, because so many of us are dying.
Right.
And then the business, when you see the type of cars that they have and the lifestyle, man, you say, oh man, I remember, and I'm sure you remember also, you all remember as well, when you went to a wake or something like that at a funeral home, it was possibly an elder person, or that funeral home might have one or maybe two bodies in there, doing one or two funerals a day. But now, man, I tell you, that business is so lucrative. And what's so sad about it is that a lot of the ones, we can't even go and, even if the COVID-19 wasn't out there, many of us are afraid to even go to a wake or funeral because individuals are shooting it out, shooting inside the funeral home and shooting at the funerals and so forth.
Let me say
Yes,
something.
yes,
Let me
yeah.
say something to that. You are 110% correct, because if there's one thing I noticed about the history of America, it's how they exploit the unfortunate, the misfortunate, and the downtrodden. And the number one community they have always exploited is the Black community. And the thing is that you're right about these funeral homes. I see very few to almost none of them owned by Black people. But yet the industry is booming so much that my own brother passed away last year from the Rona. The Rona got one of my brothers.
Sorry to hear that.
To show you how exploitive all of this is. Like you said, the Rona made it impossible for us to go to the hospital and see our brother. They wouldn't let us in there.
Yes.
And then on top of that, the Rona took him out. After that, they told us we got 5 days to get his body out of there. That's how I knew they let him die. They had so many people that they'll let some people, they'll treat some others, and others they'll let you die. Most of those people, that's how we also know that I speculate, and I truly believe in, truly if I'm correct, that most of the people that let him die in there are Black people.
Blacks and Spanish.
And then on top of that, the thing is they give you an ultimatum, 5 days to get his body out. This is what they told her. They told us we got 5 days to get his body out of here. That from the time that, say my mother or my sister passed away years ago, the funeral business is not only boomed, the costs have skyrocketed. It's ridiculously expensive to bury somebody today. They wanted minimum $10,000 to bury my brother. We had to settle for a cremation of about half that amount. That's the thing. So they're not only making money on the burials, they're making money on cremating us as well. That's how devastating that is. Even in death, we've been exploited in this country. And I just wanted to tell you, the audience, this is what I wanted to explain to you, what as Rufus Rochelle has confirmed is happening to us, why it's so important that we come up with solutions and answers. This is Perry L. Duff coming at you live from the Hustler's Corner, New York City, saying thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and join us. This concludes this particular session of the Hustler's Corner, New York City. Check out our Hustler's Corner, New York City YouTube channel, where you can see more interviews on powerful topics that have a very powerful effect on the African American community. And if you, once again, are incarcerated or a person who has been wrongly incarcerated for a crime they didn't commit, if you have a Black-owned business, if you are active in the community in nonprofit organizations, if you are an artist or a musician or a rap artist or a vocalist, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner, New York City. Bring your books, bring your music, bring your business, and we'll give them all a shout out. And you can reach us at the Hustler's Corner New York City Facebook group and on Facebook at the Hustler's Corner New York City page. You can also reach us at 347-422-7971. That's 347-422-7971. Once again, thank you for joining us. And as always, don't forget, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe.